Hi, Bill Garvin here for Gunold USA. In this tutorial video, what I want to demonstrate is two-color double puff. So in this scenario, we're actually going to be using two colors of foam. Okay, here we've got our 3mm, which is pretty standard, our standard foam in white, and then the second layer is actually going to be the red and the 3mm as well. Now when you do your second layer, keep in mind you're going to be penetrating through a lot more material, so you normally want to slow the machine down for that layer. To start this job, I'm going to do a little KK spray adhesive, lay my first color into place, and run our first color of puff. So at this point, our first layer of puff is done. We've programmed the machine to stop. So I'm going to reach in and remove the excess puff from not only the outside, but also the inside of the lettering. And then we will be ready to start our second layer of puff. Another little shot of the KK spray adhesive onto position. And again, for this layer, I will normally slow the machine down a little bit more, because remember we're sewing much more layers now. To do puff on puff in a 3mm, at this point we're actually going through 6mm of puff. Once the second layer of puff is done, I'm going to move the frame out so I can remove. Okay, so you can see the second layer of puff on top of the first. Removing my excess puff, and of course that was the first layer that we had taken off earlier. Okay, now keep in mind we still have our fuzzies, we still need to do a little cleanup of our design. Puff is never about how fast you can get it done, it's about how correct you can get it done. Doing a two-layer puff like this right here would add a perceived value between $8 to $10 to a 7,000 stitch logo. Even with the 2 layers of puff at a lower speed took about 12 to 13 minutes. So I am going to go ahead and hit this with a heat gun. And then once I start applying the heat, will help clean up the edges of the puff. And just try not to scorch your material. As you can see, especially on the red there at the bottom, the white, although what I refer to as the fuzzy, start pulling in. And now you've got a 2-layer, 2-color puff. Keep in mind, if you were doing this on a hat, I would probably recommend you start with 2mm puff instead of 3, because again, we're a lot thicker and going through the seam of a cap. You're always going to sew a lot slower, but that is the process of doing a 2-color puff, and normally it does have to be custom digitized to get this done.